Hi, thanks for your interest in small business systems. I'm Jason, and today I want to talk about a question that I get asked from time to time, and that is, what is a system, and how is that different than the word process? Now, these two words often get intermixed when you're trying to optimize your organization or improve your workflow, but it's really important that we define the difference between both of these words so that we can successfully improve the flow of your company and be more efficient. So overall, a system is a set of processes. It's the bigger picture goal of what you're trying to do, that you're trying to make sure that it's repeatable and has a good outcome. The process is really that finite piece of the puzzle that everybody's doing, the actual work. So I've got the whiteboard here today, so I want to look at what we're doing visually so it makes a little bit more sense. So we'll start out with the word process, because I said that was at the heart of everything we're doing. That's the process. That's the step-by-step instructions. This could be a documented or printed machine operator manual, a really big, thick document that is telling somebody how to do something in great length. It could be a Post-it note that an employee puts on their desk with a checklist. Very simple. It could be any of those things. That's your actual process, the work that's actually being done. But let's start one step backwards, because you can't have a process without an employee. All right, you've got to have somebody to do the work. So that's this very start of this entire discussion, is the employee. Now, the employee can't just be doing whatever they want. We want them to be working at a very high standard, or a set standard. This is important to think about because we want to have everybody working together to determine what is the best practice. You've heard that word before probably. But really it's working together to determine this works, this doesn't work, and then deciding that we're all going to work to that high set standard to have a more successful outcome. Now, next up is exactly that, an expected outcome. And this seems obvious, but it's really not, because most people don't think about the outcome. They might know inherently that we're going to deliver this invoice to the customer, but you're not consciously thinking about how is my process going to make sure that I deliver that expected outcome. So you always want to be thinking about that future stage of what you're going to do to complete this process. So you need that expected outcome. That's very important. The next thing we need to do is make sure we have accountability. And this just means that everybody understands that this process and the expected outcome is the way that we're all doing it. We're all going to be doing it the same way. So it's having discussions with employees to make sure that they understand this is the way we're going to be doing things, and I'm going to be accountable for that. And when that doesn't happen, if somebody has a mistake, then we can go back and look at one of these steps or talk to the employee about why they didn't achieve the expected outcome. But that's very important. Now, all of these things working together in concert is what's going to become your system. All right, this entire cycle here is your system. So when we talk about documenting your systems as a very important thing to do in your company, that's because we want to make sure that all these little micro steps and the way we're going about this to achieve a very high level of outcome is documented. This entire thing. You don't want to just write something down for no reason. That's documenting a process. But when you document your system for each department and then for your company overall, you have a much better shot at understanding how you do things, and you're going to have much better chance of having a success rate. The next thing I want to talk about is something that's often left out, and that is culture. So culture I'm going to put over on this side. And this is something that, again, is left out because people assume that everybody's going to be working together and everything's going to be great. Just because people are going to want to do that. But that's not the case. You probably are aware of this already. People are going to do what they want and may not follow through with this process. So driving a systems type culture, systems focused culture, is managers and owners and coworkers talking to each other in meetings and in dialogues about systems and process. So anytime there's a problem, we would be able to look back at the system and say, we need to improve something. Or if an employee makes a mistake, we need to improve the system to get a better outcome. When you're talking about those things regularly and everybody knows this is how we do things, and I don't have to just go ask Joe to see how things are done and get a verbal answer, you've got a very good, tight, documented system. So when you have all of these things working together, really what you're going to come up with is complete business reliability. 3 big words, but there's a lot in here. Without doing these things consistently, you're not going to have a reliable business. You're going to have fires you're putting out. You're going to have people doing things at different ways. You need reliability. This is what somebody's going to be looking for if they want to buy your business. This is what you're going to be looking for if a key employee leaves and they've got all the knowledge in their head and not documented. This is very, very important stuff. Now, the systems that we're talking about here, this could be for every single department. So if you're hiring a new employee and you've got an HR person they're hiring, you want a good system for that. You want to make sure every employee is hired to the same good standard, that they're brought on so that they feel comfortable and know what their job is as soon as they start working and can get up to speed quickly. If you've got somebody invoicing, we talked about that. You could have somebody in accounting to have an invoice system. And if that's working good, you know every single invoice is going to go out properly to the right employee. You could have somebody in shipping. Again, we can go through every single department, but you could have somebody in your shipping department if you manufacture processes. You want to make sure every box is packed the same way, that the right items are inside that box so that you have success when the customer receives your manufactured good. The biggest thing, though, I want to take away from all of this is that systems can really drive the strategy of your overall company. So if you use a KPI or a key performance indicator as a way to measure your progress, each of your employees should have those to talk about what are my goals each day and how am I doing? Do I have a rating? It could be how fast I'm shipping a box. It could be how many invoices have I sent out today? How many sales leads have I closed? Those are all key performance indicators that tell us how good they're doing. Those are important because if you have a fall or a change in any of those places in your KPI, you can look back at your system and figure it out how to improve it. Every single business problem is a systems problem. Think about that. Every single problem. Try to name one. You're not going to be able to do it. Doesn't matter what the problem is. If there's a problem, either there's no system in place or the system is broken or it just needs to be improved. But everything can be monitored through systems. And when you look at it that way, it's very similar to having a balance sheet or a profit and loss statement in your financial statements. Those are telling you how the company did. So it's telling you how your finances are looking, but it's a lagging indicator that tells you how you did. This is even more powerful because this is live. If you've got a key performance indicator or one of your marks on your dashboard that is not working well in your company, you can immediately, in real time, go back and look at the system that's related to it and fix it, improve it, and make a change before it hits your balance sheet or profit and loss sheet in the future. So this is really big stuff. So really, you can't forget about KPIs and goals. All of these things are huge in helping you use systems to run your company more effectively. So I hope this was helpful to understand the difference between process and system. Big difference there. But when you look at it from this far back, it really makes a lot more sense. And you can see how important it is. So if you have more questions, please reach out to me. I love talking about systems, love helping people grow and make their life easier to run their business.